nobody wants to be working on Christmas. Well, unless you consider it work to spend quality time with your family. Well, some of them. So we are especially grateful to those video game heroes who did go to work on Christmas, rolling up their sleeves and doing that hero thing, even though they would surely rather have stayed home, making merry and eating carbohydrates until they fall asleep in front of Die Hard. But instead, they got out there and saved Christmas for all of us, in their own special way. By which we mean punching, sometimes kicking, sometimes feeding an angel into a death machine made of hair. So let's get merry and celebrate some of the heroes that saved Christmas for us, and beware spoilers for the following. Ho ho ho!
Huh?
Here.
Santa has a lot to worry about already, whether it be tight annual toy deadlines or the constant threat of elf unionisation. So it's a rum-do that in Yakuza 5, anyone generous enough on Christmas to dress up as jolly old Saint Nick runs an additional risk, having the crap beaten out of them by so-called Santa hunters. When Tiger Saejima finds one such unlucky Santa prostrate on the icy ground, it probably occurred to him that he could just keep walking and have himself a chill, drama-free Xmas, or at least as drama-free an Xmas as Saejima can hope for when things like this are happening around every tinsel-lined street corner. Also, Saejima is a career criminal who achieved notoriety in the already notorious Yakuza underworld for doing this sort of thing, where he doesn't exactly give off the boy who saved Christmas vibes. I mean, unless all of these men are known for turning away carolers. But you don't know Saejima because he does indeed offer to save the season for amateur Santas trying to spread holiday cheer, doing the only sensible thing, putting on his own Santa suit and using himself as bait. Time for the Santa hunters to become the Santa hunted. However, Saejima soon finds that being Santa isn't that easy, not least because he has to evade gangs of angry children pestering him for presents and tweeting his location. Dealing with the actual Santa hunters is something of a cakewalk in comparison, as all these delinquents need is to be reminded of the true spirit of the season, via a bone-shattering beatdown from Santa himself. And that's how Saejima saved Christmas, or looked like he might, right up until the last minute when he lets all those kids from before take the gang's weapons as Christmas presents.
Arigato!
We'll call this one a draw, I guess.
Christmas in New York is a dream holiday for most. Stay in a nice hotel, save a toy shop, torment Tim Curry. I've not been to the Big Apple, but I have seen Home Alone 2, so I think I get the gist. For the locals, for instance if you're a newly bitten friendly neighbourhood Spider-Man like Miles Morales, you're probably going to spend it at home and certainly not alone.
Hi, Finn. This is Genki, my friend from Brooklyn Visions Academy. Genki, this is Finn. My best friend. My other best friend.
Oh yeah, you guys won the middle school science fair at County, right? You made a...
Energy converter?
Jinx!
Miles has his family and friends in Harlem, and it's his intention to make it a wonderful Christmas. He even goes so far as to fix his building's Christmas lights with his Spidey powers.
Come on. It worked.
Christmas is saved. But conked out lights aren't the only problem this holiday season. This being New York in the Marvel universe, some big bad is inevitably going to show up, and what do you know? They do. So instead of just having a relaxing time swooshing about snowy Central Park, Miles has to web sling around the Big Apple fighting off criminals. These include, but are not limited to, escapees from the Raft prison, a violent group called the Underground, and Roxxon, a large corporation putting Miles's neighbourhood at risk with its weird energy sources. Because at the end of the day, the real enemy is, of course, capitalism. So instead of enjoying time with family, Miles has to uncover a huge conspiracy surrounding an energy company and gets into a punch-up with his Uncle Aaron. Okay, to be fair, for some of us a fistfight with a belligerent uncle is probably Christmas tradition. But we're pretty sure that most people don't spend the holly jolly season bodily absorbing the power of a bonkers powerful reactor to prevent it from obliterating the street they live on. I'm assuming this is what Uncle Ben meant by great power? I wasn't really listening. All told, Miles has a rough as hell Christmas, all for New York's sake. He even tried to stop Rhino from smashing up the Christmas decorations in the mall.
Hey! Whoa, whoa, whoa!
I said tried.
You never know what could ruin Christmas. An overcooked turkey, an angry uncle boozed up on eggnog, everyone spontaneously combusting. Happily, Aya from the RPG Parasite Eve only has to worry about one of those things, though it does somewhat put a crimp in her Christmas Eve plans when, on a blind date to the opera, the prima donna starts singing and everyone in the place bursts into flame. So begins perhaps the gloomiest holiday season ever for Aya Brea, the NYPD rookie who is forced to abandon her date to spend the Christmas period doing battle with a shape-shifting biomonster threatening New York. Sorry Aya, at least let him down gently, eh? That biomonster is Eve, a sinister being granted horrific powers by the mitochondrial consciousness in her cells. Aya is related by organ transplant to Eve, meaning this rookie cop is the only one capable of stopping her, because everyone else is liable to catch fire. Aya spends the next 6 days battling Eve across New York, including actual Christmas Day, where Eve ruins Christmas for even more New Yorkers by dissolving them into orange goo. Without Aya's fighting spirit, it's likely all of New York and even the world would have been burned alive or turned into goo by Eve. But thanks to Aya's heroics, by the 30th of December, only a comparatively small proportion of the human race ends up liquefied, which when you see the scale of the problem starts to feel like a win. With Xmas saved, Aya even gets a do-over on the opera, at the end of the game's first ending. Fingers crossed things are a little less weird this time. Oh. You know what? I don't even want to know.
Wrap it up nice, will you? It's a present, for God's sakes. Yo! You know what? Screw the pretty ribbon. Just hurry up and put it in the box, will ya? The damn ribbon!
You know, I try to avoid doing this in my Sunday best.
You might not expect a witch to celebrate Christmas, but then you also might not expect a witch to force gold-plated centaurs into threshing machines on the regular. But that just shows what you know about witches, because combo-rific action sequel Bayonetta 2 proves that Bayonetta herself is a genuine Christmas connoisseur.
You know what I need? Some heels without guns.
For proof, see the start of the game, which shows that Bayonetta is not only indulging in the most festive activity of all, shopping, she's even brought along Joe Pesci's character from beloved Christmas film Home Alone.
You still haven't paid me back for the car. Hey!
Bayonetta's next trick, however, puts even Santa's holiday spirit to shame, saving Christmas by dint of saving all humanity from a supernatural wrong'un called Lopter. who is the worse half of a deity called Aesir and is intent on dominating humankind.
And for me, to ascend to the throne as Aesir, god of chaos.
Bayonetta has other ideas though, and along with her mates puts the brakes on Aesir god of chaos's capers, doing so largely with furious kicking, punching, and hair kicking. So efficient is Bayonetta's handling of the situation that no sooner has she drop-kicked Aesir through the sky and into the summoned dragon mouth of her friend Jean, who is waiting on top of a fighter jet, then she's back on the high street, this time bargain hunting in the January sales.
Sales are so much better after the holidays.
As such, humanity will never need find out what a Christmas would be like under Aesir's cruel reign. Though we can guess, after all, Aesir and a bunch of other Bayonetta 2 side characters are borrowed from Norse mythology, so it probably would have been some kind of Viking Christmas? What's that like? Viking Yule. The celebration included drinking, feasting, songs, games, banquets and sacrifices for 12 days straight. Okay, that actually sounds awesome. You f***ed up, Bayonetta.
That better buff out!
Dead Rising 4 offers perhaps the most festive way that everyone ever got beaten senseless with a bass guitar since Sting went ape behind the scenes of the Band-Aid video. Dead Rising 4 is already set over the holidays, but this zombie-mashing wreckfest brawler cranks its festivities up to the max with its Christmas stocking stuffer DLC installed. Which, I mean, where to begin? Shall we talk about how it puts Frank in a Santa suit and all the zombies in elf clothing, so a typical gameplay scene looks like old Saint Nick is really overreacting to a missed toy deadline? Then there's the way other NPCs are giant talking gingerbread and snowmen now, as if Santa drank some eggnog that had been left out of the fridge too long and is now hallucinating very hard indeed.
Every other way's been sealed off since the military showed up.
Or DLC item Santa's Little Melter, a motorcycle with Rudolph's head crudely taxidermied onto the handlebars that mows down zombie elves by the score. Santa's Little Melter also shoots lasers out of Rudolph's iconic red nose. Now here is footage of that happening. You'd better watch out. Dead Rising 4's bid to save Christmas isn't all DLC trinkets though. The game sees hero Frank returning to Willamette, the setting of the first game, in the wake of a zombie outbreak on Black Friday that has turned packed molefuls of shoppers from shambling consumers into shambling consumers of human brains. As satire goes, it's a little heavy-handed, but as Frank battles to save society by stopping a sinister organisation from harnessing the zombie plague to create cheap undead labour, it's clear Dead Rising 4 is fighting its own battle to warn us of the rampant commercialisation of the holidays.
It's all about this with these guys.
And sure, that message might get a little lost if you get distracted, violently smashing your way through hordes of elves in a weaponised ATV, but nobody could deny that the true meaning of— oh, sick! I just electrocuted that gingerbread man right in the throat! Sorry, what were we talking about?
You see, it's a tradition in my house to open one present each on Christmas Eve. How about this one?
Turns out, Father Christmas isn't the only person who likes to dress up on Christmas Eve and go sneaking about in other people's property. Consider Bruce Wayne, only instead of dressing in red and giving presents to children, Bruce dresses up in black and gives traumatic brain injuries to criminals.
Back off!
In Arkham Origins, Batman emerges from his workshop, aka the Batcave, on Christmas Eve and tries to stop a jailbreak at the Blackgate Penitentiary. However, he soon finds out that he is the winning ticket of a very large Christmas raffle. And by Christmas raffle, we mean a $50 million bounty on his little bat bonds.
Whoever wins is gonna be famous and rich.
Because 8 of the world's deadliest assassins are all after him, which is definitely less pleasant than 8 maids a-milking.
They're all hired killers, the best in the business. Black Mask isn't messing around.
And instead of a partridge in a pear tree, Batman gets a criminal in a clown costume, as the mastermind behind it all is revealed to be the Joker. Which, I mean, Bruce, maybe next time start with the Joker, just in case? It's always the Joker. Like, I know this is his origin story, but it's always the Joker. Despite being the target of a bunch of killers, Batman manages to save Christmas. For example, for the staff of the Gotham City Royal Hotel, who, after already giving up their Christmases to work in the service industry, ended up as hostages. And Batman even saves New Year's Eve too, when some bomb hacking gone wrong ends up giving the people a spectacular fireworks display a few days early. Happy New Year! Hope you got out safely.
You might not think of the Metal Gear series, which is concerned with an alt timeline of dystopian cyber warfare, as being especially Christmassy, with the notable exception that Big Boss, the star of several games in the franchise, canonically believes in Santa Claus.
Listen to me. Every December they set up a hotline and... Okay, I get it. He's real, I tell ya. He used to bring me presents and... Okay, Snakey.
But hold on a second, because wouldn't you know it, one entry in the Metal Gear series is, stealthily, one of the most Christmassy games ever made. A fact that would be more surprising if stealth wasn't, you know, this game's whole deal. Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake came out in 1990 for MSX2 home computers, and didn't get released outside of Japan until 2006. The game is set in the rogue state of Zanzibar land, a nation hoovering up nuclear weapons and kidnapping scientists with a view to controlling the world's supply of microbe-synthesized oil. Also, they're developing a new Metal Gear tank, which is presumably worse than both of those things because it made it onto the box art. Needless to say, the world cannot sit by while delicate nukes are loaded onto a weapon that is clearly going to trip and fall over the second it walks out of the warehouse, so Solid Snake is brought out of retirement to infiltrate. Which is already generous before you find out he's given up some of his Christmas to do so, sacrificing those days eating mince pies and guzzling mulled wine to punch unsuspecting guards to death. Putting his life on the line to make sure New Year's remains unnuked is one hell of a Christmas present that Snake gives the world, saving not just Christmas, but civilization too. And yet the signs that Snake has indeed saved the season are fairly subtle. Keen observers will note, however, that the game's manual makes clear that Operation Intrude FO14 takes place on Christmas Eve, 1999. Then there's undercover CIA agent and Solid Snake romantic interest Holly White, who, apart from her highly festive name, ends the game by escaping with Snake and promising in a flirty conversation that they'll be back in time for Christmas dinner. Alright, lovebirds, let's see how amorous you're feeling after eating 3 pounds of roast potatoes.
So those are the heroes that saved Christmas. Thank you, heroes. Now I've got to get I was hoping not to do that, because then I don't have to get Christmas presents. So, because of Batman, I now have to go buy a Christmas present. Damn it, Batman.
Christmas is back on.
Thanks,
Batman.
Thanks, Bruce Wayne. Could you cough up something, please? So I've got to get prezzies for everyone now. Anyway, if you enjoyed that video, please do give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Let us know in the comments down below which hero is your favourite. And we shall see you next time. Merry Christmas. Bye.